Well, I'm Jackson Burns. We're going to talk about the Glom's Doll, what they seem to think that the Hebner runestone says. Behind me, you can see the valley, which is supposed to be, according to Dr. Nelson and according to the current transliteration of the Hebner runestone, is Glom's Doll. This would be the Valley of Doll behind me. I do not believe that that is the Valley of Doll, or that the current translation is correct on the Hebner runestone. The main reason is, if this was the Valley of Doll, there should be other runstones back out there showing boundary markers or talking about a little bit more, continuation of Valley of Doll or whatever. And there have been none found so far. There have been one found back over on this mountain through these trees, the Poteau runestone, but that dates from 1017, if that is correct. Now the thing is, this mountain that I'm on right now is Poteau Mountain, and I'm pretty close to the Hebner runestone. Behind me you can kind of see the mountain, and well, it just goes on up. The Hebner runestone is back down that way. Straight back that way is the Hebner runestone. Straight in that line. Now, my hometown, Hebner, is right down there, through those trees and bushes and what all. Let me switch sides here. Through there, you can see the buildings right in there. Anyhow, my thought processes on this is the valley basically had nothing to do with this. What was important to these Vikings, Norsemen, Goths, whatever they were, that came from overseas, illegal aliens that came across the ocean. Back in those days, they wouldn't have been illegal because there wasn't nobody here. Well, I guess to the Native Americans, they would have been illegal. But anyhow, I digress. Onward. What my thought process is my grandfather used to wander, and my uncles used to wander these mountains, and they knew where all the rocks and all the runestones were. There were several runestones up on these mountains. My grandfather told me where several of them were. Now, most of them are gone now, or they've been destroyed by treasure hunters or just idiots that didn't know what they had. And basically, what we're doing right now, or what I've been doing for the last 3 or 4 or 5 years, is looking for lost runestones. Now, we know where one is on the other side, and it's supposed to look exactly like the Hebner runestone, but it's on the other end of this mountain in another canyon, just like the Hebner runestone is. Now, this land is supposedly owned by somebody that's not, their elevator doesn't reach the top level, and is pretty well nuts, and they will shoot you if you come out on their land. Now, we're trying to work to where I can get out there on it, and we're going to go out and find this thing, as well as some of these other ones. So the thought process now is, it means that there were runestones all down this mountain as far as you could go for miles and miles and miles. This was the important thing. This is what they're talking about. They're talking about this mountain. So this must be the hereditary property that was set aside for this dead person's family or whoever. This must be a monument basically to him, or this was set aside basically. Now, I don't know if this encompasses this whole this valley behind me. Not so certain about that. But if it is, and if it is Glom, sorry Glom, I just don't believe your story, man. So the correct translation, in my opinion, and it was the Smithsonian translated in 1923 to this, and another person did in the 60s, is Ga Othala Midat, which Gathala Midat, which means basically beware. You are among property made for a dead person. So, Jesus Mountain, not the valley.